As excitement around artificial intelligence continues to sweep the business world, attention is turning to the technology's newest iteration, AI agents. Unlike traditional AI models, AI agents can make decisions without constant human oversight. They work autonomously to achieve complex goals such as answering customer questions, optimizing a supply chain, or analyzing healthcare data to provide a diagnosis. However, the very capabilities that make AI agents so valuable can also make them difficult to monitor, understand, and control. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Analytics Inside podcast, where we talk about the cutting edge of technology. And I'm your host, Priya Dialani. Now, while AI agents work independently, it also makes them far less transparent than traditional applications built on explicit predefined rules and logic. To mitigate these risks, organizations are increasingly turning to AI agent observability to gain insight into the behavior and performance of AI agents. Let's welcome Yadi Narayana, Field CTO for Asia Pacific and Japan, Datadog, to give insights around AI agent observability. Hi Yadi, how are you doing?
Very good, Priya. How are you?
I am doing good too. Thank you so much. Welcome to our podcast, and it's a pleasure to have you on our podcast today. And we are, of course, going to touch down a very crucial aspect of AI agents and how probably we need to monitor these AI agents, especially with the increasing adoption of them in different and various industries. But before we get deeper into our conversation, we would like to know more about Datadog. So, if you could help us understand more about the organization, specific services, it would be great.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a great start. So, Datadog is known as a global leader in observability and security. In simple terms, we help enterprises monitor, secure, and optimize their digital ecosystems. Everything from, say, customers' digital experience to apps and infrastructure behind them, to all the way to the CI/CD pipeline and even FinOps. Now, we've gone to support over 30,500 customers worldwide, including 62% of Fortune 100. Now, in fact, just this past quarter, Q2 2025, we reported 28% year-on-year revenue growth to 827 million US dollars. So the momentum is very strong. Now, what sets us apart is our engineering-led innovation. We invest three times more in R&D than our competitors. And today we deliver more than 24 products. Now, that investment means we can not only keep pace with the fast moving cloud native environments, but also shape how observability is evolving. Now, and if I have to specifically speak about India, the story is equally exciting. We have gone from a single employee to 100 plus people in the just few years, with Bangalore being one of our major hubs. Now we serve 300 plus customers, work with 30 plus partners in the region, and we are deeply engaged with sectors like e-commerce, BFSI, and several others, which are at the very heart of India's digital economy. Now, at its core, Datadog started as a cloud-based observability platform, helping companies keep an eye on their servers, applications, and security, everything in one place. But as the systems became more complex, we infuse AI into the platform, and that's where things really change. We are not just building chatbot; we are building an AI-powered operations ally. Now, whether the anomaly detection through a natural interface or even autonomous AI agent that act like a virtual team member, our goal is to help teams move from that reactive firefighting to more focus on innovation. Now, that's why industry analysts like Forrester recently named us a leader in AI ops platform. And I think it reflects our philosophy. Observability is no longer just limited to monitoring, it's about preventative, detective, and corrective visibility, which scales the digital economies like India's. And increasingly, it's about AI augmented operations, Priya.
Definitely. Thank you for that wonderful overview, Yadi. And it's inspiring to see, how Datadog is not only addressing the current industry challenges, but also shaping the future through innovation and impact. I think with that foundation in place, we would also like to, dive deeper into your role and contributions you have made towards this journey. You have over 20 years of experience in product management, engineering, and business leadership, and you also bring deep technical expertise along with a proven ability to align technology with business outcomes. So, we would like to know more about you, Yadi. How has your journey been till date? What exactly is your role at Datadog?
Yeah. So, in my current role as a field CTO for Asia Pacific and Japan here at Datadog, I always tell people my job is to make sure observability and security are not buzzwords. They need to translate into real measurable outcomes for our customers. So, if I have to broadly speak about my team, Field CTO team has a global mission. We act as a bridge between customers and our R&D org. On one side, we work with enterprise and digital native companies to co create multi year observability strategies that directly support their business needs. Now, whether that's accelerating innovation, whether that's scaling reliably, or improving customer experience. On the other side, we bring those learning back to our product and engineering teams. So Datadog continues to build solutions that are not just cutting edge, but actually relevant to what customers need as well. Now, for me personally, it comes down to helping organizations build resilience, optimize cost, and accelerate their transformation journey. Now, I always frame observability in business terms. For me, it's a lever for growth, for innovation and transformation, not just a back-end technical functions. Now, again, if I have to put a lens on India, I'm especially excited about the momentum we are seeing here. Digital adoption in India is setting at a global pace, whether it's UPI, whether it's fintech, or whether the kind of e-commerce companies which are getting built there. So we are working across commercial, mid-market, and enterprise segments alongside a strong partner ecosystem. And it's not just about customers. We are also investing in various other activities. Some are community initiatives where leaders, practitioners, and engineers come together and share experiences and co innovate. At the end of the day, my role is really about being a connector, making sure that the solutions what we design are scalable and also agile and relevant to fast moving markets like India. Priya.
Thank you for sharing that, Yadi, and it's really inspiring and and fascinating as well to see how your role has shaped the company's journey and growth. Building on that, let's dive into our core discussion today about AI observability. Now, AI agents combine LLM capabilities with external tools and reasoning mechanisms to autonomously achieve specific goals. Unlike traditional software systems, AI agents can make decisions that can vary based on context, input variations, and inherent randomness in their outputs. Now, when we talk about observability, it serves two critical functions for AI agents. First, it enables operational monitoring, which involves detecting performance issues or errors and bottlenecks. Second, it creates a feedback loop for quality improvement where telemetry data helps enhance agent capabilities over time. Now, of course, when you talk about observability, it is often seen as a backend function. but eventually you frame it as directly tied to productivity. So can you explain how observability translates into measurable productivity gains when they're working with AI agents?
Right. So historically, you're right. Observability has been seen as this kind of back-end plumbing, right? Keeping the lights on, making sure servers don't fail. But in a cloud native and AI-driven world, that definition is far too narrow. Today, observability is more a business enabler. Now, think about it, right? Every customer experience, whether you're making an UPI payment in India, or streaming a cricket match, or ordering your groceries online, depends on systems being fast and reliable. So when observability prevents downtime or spots anomalies before they hit the real users, so this is not just an IT win, right? It's a business outcome. Happier customers, higher conversion, less churn. Now, where it gets even more exciting is with the AI agents, because if you want to use AI inside an observability system, you need a clean, complete contextual data. Now, AI models are only as good as the signals they operate on. So, if the telemetry is noisy or siloed, the AI just amplifies the mess. But with observability, you are already collecting high fidelity logs, you're collecting metrics, you're collecting traces, and user signals in a unified way. Now, that clean contextual data is what makes AI useful, whether it's identifying an incident or summarizing the root cause or even suggesting the next best actions to take. So, observability isn't just a complementary to AI, it's the foundation that makes AI effective in this space. Let me give you an example. Traditionally, if there's an outage, a team of engineers might spend hours combining through dashboards, logs, alerts. Now, let's say if you have observability and that's powered by AI, the system itself can swift through billions of those data points. It can surface the root cause, or it can even suggest a fix in minutes. Now, that's not just a faster troubleshooting, that's you as an enterprise getting back hours to build features instead of wasting time on firefighting. And if you take a step further with autonomous AI agents, you are essentially adding virtual teammates to your operations and security teams. Now they can handle routine investigations, cost optimizations, or compliance check automatically. So the productivity gain here is twofold. Like one, fewer incidents ever reach human beings. And the second is faster resolution when it actually happens. So the observability has gone from being that rare view mirror of IT to becoming more of a navigation system for digital business because it helps orgs move faster. It helps them reduce toil and scale with more confidence here. So, which is exactly what we need in this world moving at this fast pace, Priya.
Definitely. I think, the way you connected observability from being just a monitoring tool to become a real driver of productivity is such an, interesting perspective. And, I think it's not about just catching errors, but also empowering teams, to work smarter, move faster, like you said, that we need, these AI agents, or when we talk about the observability aspect of AI agents, I think it's more of a navigation system, and it can help organizations to move faster. And of course, when you're talking about scaling, you need that confidence, and I think that's where the role of observability comes into picture. Building on that, moving ahead, when we're talking about the AI agent observability, we definitely need some robust solutions in place. Without them, I think organizations will struggle to troubleshoot complex AI workflows, scale reliably, improve efficiency, and of course, ensure that transparency within that stakeholder group. And if you don't have such solutions, such observability solutions, I think you are relying on just surface level metrics or probably gut feel, because you with observability in the picture, I think you're looking under the hood. You're trying to understand the decision pathways, the error rates, or even resource utilization. And that's where I think you can measure the productivity gains that are emerging. So I think it's no longer about whether AI seems helpful. It's about whether it's demonstrably improving workflows, saving time, and reducing costs. So, are there any specific metrics or KPIs you track that demonstrate the business value of observability in AI powered environments?
Right. So when people ask how observability ties to productivity, we don't just look at dashboards. We actually track a whole range of metrics. Some of them you've highlighted as well. So, say reliability, speed, cost, security. And the most important bit is that each of these maps back to a business outcome. Let's take a very simple example of uptime, right? At the end of the day, keeping the lights on is one of the clearest productivity wins. Let's say, you take a service. Let's be specific. Let's say an AI service goes down and users notice immediately. With observability, we are able to catch these issues. Maybe an API slowing down or a model is completely erroring before they become a broader issue. Let's say it becomes an outage. So every minute of downtime we prevent is a customer trust preserved and often revenue protected. Then there is the speed of fixing issues, what ops team call mean time to resolution or MTTR. Observability cuts that dramatically. One of our customers actually saw incident detection and resolution speed up 3x and their MTTR dropped by 30%. Now that means what used to take an hour now takes maybe 20 minutes. Now multiply that across a year, you're saving countless engineering hours that can go back to building new features instead of firefighting. So another big one is deployment frequency. Now teams with strong observability push code faster because they've got that safety net. They know that if something breaks, they'll see it right away. Now that confidence means features and AI models that hit the market faster and faster. Now, sometimes months ahead of competition, which is also a huge productivity boost in a way. Cost efficiency is also very huge, especially in AI. Let's say GPUs and cloud spend are big line items. Now, observability lets us see if resources are being wasted. Maybe 20% of GPU are sitting idle, for example. With that insights, maybe teams can resize clusters and save serious money, right? We have several customers who told us that they cut millions of dollars just by optimizing their infrastructure after, leveraging some of those insights. And then the most important part is the security. Now, you can't ignore security because observability also helps surface some misconfigurations or odd behavior before they turn to major breaches. Like we have several companies which use platform to immediately detect risky cloud misconfigurations right after they detect it and fix them before they become real issues. Now that is also productivity for me because you're not scrambling in a damage control exercise, right? So finally, there is the user experience side. When applications run faster, when AI responses are accurate and perfect, our customers they stay engaged. So it's satisfying to tell a stakeholder that hey, we have reduced 200 millisecond of load time and kept our AI service uptime at 99%, and that you can see a direct link to customer retention. So when you put all of them together, that is fewer outages, faster recovery time, more frequent deployments, lower cloud bills, stronger security posture, we see a clear movement in the business metrics. That's why I always say observability is not just a backend function anymore. It is that strategic investment that pays back in productivity, in efficiency, and growth, Priya.
Definitely. And I think, I very much like your point that you don't just look at dashboards. I think you look beyond that when you're talking about certain aspects like cost, speed, scalability. That's very important because, while I think most of the organizations till date have been looking observability, as a technical capability, but it's like a measurable business driver, it accelerates innovation as well. And with your response, I think it's clear that with the right metrics, whether they're tied to system reliability, performance, or user experience, I think that's what, we can connect observability to real business value. Moving ahead, productivity is definitely great. But then what about safety? Because as AI adoption accelerates, a shadow ecosystem is also forming, which is the shadow AI. Now, these are tools or models used inside enterprises without approval, without governance, and often without visibility. So, the problem, they create massive risks. There's data leakage, bias, even security vulnerabilities. But I think observability provides a counterweight. It ensures that AI usage isn't a black box. It allows organizations to set guardrails, track compliance, and verify that agents are acting responsibly. So, with shadow AI tools and unsanctioned usage rising, how can observability provide organizations with the visibility needed to ensure safe and accountable use of AI?
Yeah, shadow AI is actually a very hot topic right now. Now think of it like shadow IT, which existed, a decade ago. People using tools or spinning up services without, org's approval. So it might be an employee pasting sensitive data to a chatbot or a team quietly running their own ML model in the cloud. It's happening everywhere because AI tools are so easy to access today, right? Now, the danger, of course, is what when AI use is hidden, we lose oversight, which creates risk around data privacy, compliance, and even cost shoots up. Now, that's where observability comes in. It's like turning the lights in this dark room, right? You can suddenly see all the workloads, all the traffic, all the process running in your environment. And if someone spins up an unsanctioned AI service, you will start seeing the new traffic patterns. You will see the GPU spike. You will see an unfamiliar API call. Now, what's powerful is that observability is not here to just detect. It also creates an accountability in a way. All the logs, metric, traces from the audit trail, you know who did what, when, and with that data. So if company policy says only approved model can be used, observability helps you enforce that in practice. It's not about shutting innovation down. It's more about making sure that it happens safely. Now we can also use AI to monitor AI. For example, in Datadog, we have a component called Watchdog, which is our AI engine. Now, Datadog Watchdog can recognize unusual behaviors in real time, and we have extended that further with our LLM observability, which lets us track prompts, responses, latency, cost, and anomalies. Now, why does that matter? Because again, unsanctioned or risky usage often shows up as odd error patterns or unexpected traffic spikes or sudden cost anomalies. By making these systems observable, we give the organization the same level of visibility and control they already expect from their non-AI apps and infra. And this is really resonating with customers as well. Like we have seen rapid adoption of LLM observability solution in the recent months, especially after expanding some of its capabilities. Again, that tells us that enterprise don't want just AI happening in shadows. They want visibility, they want control, they want guardrails around it, so they can encourage innovation without compromising that safety part. So the way I frame it is observability is more like an antidote to the shadow AI. It lets organizations say, hey, yes, let's go and experiment with AI, but we'll do it transparently, safely, and in a way that protects their business and their end customers, Priya.
That's a really insightful perspective, Yadi. And I think, you really highlighted on something very critical that, it's observability is not just like a technical safeguard that we have, but it's like a governance tool that builds confidence in AI adoption. And I think what you have shared, will resonate with leaders who are grappling with the dual challenge of empowering teams with AI while also ensuring compliance and accountability. Now, moving ahead, I think the field continues to evolve rapidly in several directions. We discussed all of that, and we also anticipate more comprehensive semantic conventions that address edge cases and agent behavior. And I think we'll be witnessing more such developments in the coming years. One last question for you, Yadi. What's your vision of how observability and AI will evolve together in the next 3 to 5 years?
If you think 3 to 5 years ahead, AI agents won't be just in this pilot mode anymore. They'll be operating at scale. They'll be embedded in day-to-day work as some of the things we are seeing today, coding assistants, maybe customer support reps, or even managing parts of the infra or autonomously. But for the people to really trust those agents, observability becomes essential because we need to be able to see what they're doing, why they're making certain decisions, and do we need to intervene? Now, without that level of visibility, the adoption might stall. That's my view. Now, observability itself is evolving too, right? It's moving from being mostly reactive, spotting and fixing problems after the fact, to becoming more predictive and more adaptive. So, in AI driven systems, we are already seeing early examples of self healing, self optimizing behavior. I think that's going to only going to accelerate, where systems don't just raise alerts, but actively adjust themselves to for resilience and performance. And from a regional perspective, India is going to also be very critical in the story. The combination of talent, the cloud adoption, and innovation energy in India means we'll see both large enterprises and startups pushing boundaries with localized AI applications and with new operating models that others will learn from globally as well. That's my view on how I see this next few years.
Definitely. And I think as AI agents grow more autonomous, this need will only intensify. And we are moving into a world where agents make not just recommendations, but real time interventions. And that raises the stakes for transparency, trust, and governance. So the question isn't whether observability is nice to have. The question is whether enterprises can afford to deploy AI agents without it. So, thank you so much, Yadi, for taking out the time and effort to be on our podcast today and helping us understand that observability is the hidden backbone of AI adoption. It is what turns hype into measurable productivity, what transforms risk into accountability, and what allows enterprises to trust AI agents not just in experiments but in production. And when AI goes right, I think observability is what proves its value eventually. Thank you so much, Yadi. It was lovely chatting with you.
Thank you. I enjoyed the chat.
Thank you so much. So, this is for our listeners. That's it for today's episode of Analytics Insight. And I am Priya Dialani. And I hope this conversation helps you see why, in the age of AI agents, observability isn't optional, it is essential. Thanks for tuning in. Until next time. And you can view all our previous podcasts on Spotify and other leading platforms. Thank you so much.